episode of the Sports Esports podcast. This is the LCK edition. I'm your host, William, and with me I have Brock.
Hello.
And LCK sucked again for our predictions. we uh we tied at 4-6 each. I've gone 4-6 in both weeks of LCK. By far my worst region. And we'll get right into the picks. It's chaos in LCK. It's absolute
Yeah,
chaos.
there's a lot going on right now.
I said picks, I think. I meant let's get into the games. The first game was KT versus Kingzone. We both last week thought Kingzone was going to be a trash team, one of the worst. I had them worse as Janair. Boy, was I wrong. Kingzone came out fierce and destroyed KT in both games. Deft was a monster. He had a huge pick on Ashe with the Ashe arrow. He picked score off with it towards the end, and KZ were just able to completely take the game after they had actually been losing this game for quite a bit. Uh,
Yeah, I think score. There was a point. I believe this was a game where score was on Grokis, if I'm not mistaken. But there was a point where they were up, and he just got called out mid for no reason.
in mid lane, that was the Ashe arrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That just
And he was
completely
way
won them
away
the
from
game.
his team.
Mm-hmm. Also, so I had Def as the player of the game just because that play won the game, and
Yeah,
he was doing good before then as well. Uh, Game number two kind of also started out slow, but the fight in mid by Kingzone really provided them with enough to go ahead and get Baron and close out the rest of the game. There was a fight around 25 minutes, and then the MVP of this one was Rascal. He just destroyed people with the Urgot. He was just a monster, and we haven't talked much about Rascal lately, or at all on the podcast because he hasn't been doing well. He's the new top laner on Kingzone. Mm.
yeah,
Hasn't been doing very well, but he had a great game there, and I thought he deserved MVP because he was just tearing through that front line as Urgot. Uh,
yeah. He looked good.
Game number two, or series number two, was Humble Life versus Griffin. Actually, Humble Life very close to winning this game.
They played a hell of a game.
Like, that's the worst I've seen Griffin in ever. And they were up 9k gold by the 29-minute mark, and then Griffin.
Yeah, this
Oh my god, just the Griffin train is ridiculous.
this is a game. I wrote it in my notes, but I'm barely remembering this game, but if I'm not mistaken, I think this game Tarzan actually got out jungle.
Yeah, he did. He did. And it came down the Viper on the Kaisa, man. Ugh. And then it was ridiculous because Sangyun on Ashe missed Tarzan by like an inch with his Ashe ult. And just the whole team fight exploded after that, all in Griffin's favor. And sadly, or not sadly, because I like watching Griffin. I predicted Griffin, but I felt bad for Hanwood Life after that game. And then
Yeah.
the next game, Griffin they were mentally broken. I felt like Griffin just took over completely from the beginning, and well, not from the beginning. The first 10 minutes were okay for Hanwood. They were like sitting there, but the second Griffin started getting picks, it was over right away.
Yeah, and Tarzan really made it for game one, too.
Yeah, and
And
that
again, Chovy got a
Chovy.
collie.
Yep, Chovy on a collie. This is the game that he was 4v1ing. You probably saw it on Reddit. If you saw some
Yep.
highlights, that was that game. It was just. Ugh, Chovy is getting real close. Do you think Chovy will have a 100 KDA by the end of this week?
I think you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, they are going against SKT, but I think he's currently at 79, if I remember correctly, or like 80 for the week, for the year. And it's,
Yeah,
it's
that
insane.
SKT versus Griffin, that game is literally going to be one through mid lane.
Hmm.
Like, there's going to be so much happening.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, Series number three was Sandbox Gaming versus SKT. Sandbox is legit.
Oh, Sandbox is very legit.
Oh man, I love Sandbox, and I love Joker on Sandbox because he's 29 years old playing support still, and I'm like, hell yeah, it's like the only player I'm younger than.
Yeah, game one, SKT played like old SKT, where it
Hmm.
wasn't a blowout. No one just got like dumpstered. It was just SKT played a better game of League.
Oh yeah,
And then game two, was game two was a good game, but game three to me it didn't even close.
Yeah, I
But
want to
for
bring up
me,
real quick. Game
yeah,
one,
go ahead.
Teddy had 29k damage on Ezreal, where Sandbox ADC had on a Ghost on Callista did 8k damage. Like
Yeah,
that's a
jeez.
big difference between your counterpart. That's why I just wanted to bring that up because he was a
Yeah,
monster in game one.
yeah, he was a monster. But for me, I think SKT. I don't know, man. Like he plays it so well and he plays it good. But I think if you want the Urgot, I think you have to put it to play. I
Yeah.
think Faker needs to be on something other than Urgot.
Okay, fine. Galio.
And please God, not that either.
He hasn't played anything else this year. He's
I
only
know
played
that's it.
Urgot and Galio. Yeah,
That's it.
they even had on Fleek crushed it this in both the games though. On his Camille, he started out 3-0-1 before 10 minutes, and that was the game where he said it was kind of a blowout. Where
Yeah.
Khan on GP did not have a good game. He played GP very terribly, I thought. And honestly, on Fleek was the MVP I thought of the whole series, and he just simply out jungled some like SKT and Clud.
Yeah.
Clid.
I agree.
Series number 4 was Gen G versus Afrika. There's a little. This was going to be a little bit of a snoozer, but the very first thing, like pregame, Dread is in the ADC role, like, but then he's actually playing jungle, and aiming is just nowhere to be found. I still don't know if they've confirmed anything on that. I haven't been up to date necessarily, but there's rumors that he deleted all of his league accounts and everything, and I have no idea. I guess we'll find out this week if he's still playing or not. But the Afrika draft was disgustingly unique. I wanted to bring this up because they had a protect the Vayne comp without any tanks. They had Camille and Akali for backline damage. They would always dive in, so then the front line of Gen G had to deal with them because they do so much damage. They can't just let them be with their squishies. So while they're dealing with those two, they would buy enough time for Vayne to just come from, like, Vayne is now face to face with the front line, but not really because the front line's turned around, so face to back really. But the front line's turned around dealing with Camille and Akali because they have to, and Vayne just shredding through the front line. Like 6 autos kills a tank because Vayne's true damage. And it was disgusting, and it made me sad because it showed how irrelevant tanks are because you can be tanky on Akali if you just stay in your shroud. You just have to buy time. And that's all you had to do. And it made me sad, but it worked like perfectly.
Yep. Heal and move. Heal and move.
And then what was no, that was that. But game 2 actually early game UCal and Klein or Kiln looked just so much stronger than Roach and Fly, and they weren't able. They were just constantly roaming and diving. Like Afrika was starting out great, but they dived too deep eventually. You know, they got a little too aggressive. And Genji with their Stonewall, super slow, boring to watch team fight, and like, or not even team fighting, just style of play. They were actually able to come back and win that game because of Ruler. To be fair, Ruler dominated that game, and I feel like he's the new Teddy of SK, or not of SKT, but of LCK. I feel like he's stuck on a team, and he's still performing really well right now, much better than what he was performing at Worlds, and he just doesn't have the team around him. But he did get him a win this game.
Yeah. And that's good. Good.
And then finally, this again, I didn't want to talk too much about this series, but there were so many weird things. They picked Annie ADC. It did work out well, but like Lucian on Kiln was like Kiln was insane. Am I saying his name right? Kiln? Or
I
is it Kiln or
believe
Klein?
so.
Yeah. But oh my God, I wanted to bring up. This was like if he didn't win Player of the Game, but I wanted to, or Player of the Week, just because of what Afrika did later on. Sadly, but this game should have won him like Player of the Week. This was like the game of the week. He did 42k damage on his team when the total or the next highest on his team was only 14k, and the total damage on his team was only 38k outside of him. So he did 4k more damage than every other person on his team combined. He
That was a lot of padding the stats.
That's a
He was up there hitting
monster.
Urgot for 45 minutes.
That's
He
true.
played it
That's
so
true.
well
But
too.
yeah,
He played
Urgot's
it so
not
well.
as tanky as some. If he was hitting Cho'Gath, I'd understand.
I like how
Or Mundo.
whenever coaches or players are trying to find something that counters a certain pick, the go-to is always Lucian. Like, what can we play to counter Galaxy? Lucian.
Lucian. Got
All right,
it.
well, what counters Urgot? Lucian.
Lucian. It's frustrating. I did not like facing Lucian in lane. Series number 5 was KT versus Jin Air. KT came back. It was a 2 game series, but it wasn't pretty really. It was a lot of 50-50 fights. There's over 35. I think the first 35 minutes, I believe I wrote down here, of game 1, which is constant 50-50s. BDD is looking amazing on KT, but no one else is looking amazing with him.
Yeah.
But Malrang and stuff did actually look pretty good in in this KT series. I will talk about him in a second though.
And
and
Jin Air actually didn't look terrible this game. Like game one.
yeah,
They didn't look like they usually.
yeah, and they were honestly pretty close until in game 2 for the first 20 minutes as well.
Yeah.
But they KT just had a slight advantage the whole game, and they were able to push it through, and it was like after 22 minutes was about where Jin Air broke, which was KT was able to pull through, but they already were coming off a loss, and they're only 1-3 on the year. Like it's not been a good year for KT at all. Series number 5 was Griffin versus Damwon. This Griffin team, man. Damwon, not to take anything away from them, they looked amazing. Even they looked pretty good this week. They had a rough week with Griffin and SKT, but Redemption Olaf. I've seen it. I've seen it in NA. I've seen it in EU now. I've seen it like everywhere. Freaking Tarzan brings out Redemption Olaf, and now everyone is playing it.
Yeah. There was a good thing Damwon could take out of this game though, was Canyon did a really good job of dragging.
Yeah, he did. He did. And
so I mean, if they're going to take anything from this series, they can take that.
Yeah, it's just Redemption Olaf is like genius if you're a aggressive player, I feel like, because it's such a cheap item and it gives an extra 300 health, I believe it is, and it hurts like 150 on the other side. That's like a 450 difference if you use it in the jungle. Like because as Olaf, you're gonna want to invade and just constantly be trying to fight someone because you're like one of the strongest champions in the game, pre-6, and you're just adding 400 damage for only 2,200 gold, like really quick. That's very helpful. And even in late game team fights, you can add an extra redemption to your team right there. You're gonna heal up, and now all of a sudden Olaf's not completely useless late game. It's very smart. It didn't.
Olaf really doesn't need damage item.
Yeah, he just does so much damage with his base stats. He doesn't have like any scaling, but his base stats are strong.
Any silver player.
Any silver player?
Yes, silver players.
Game 2.
That's not a shot at a friend of ours.
He's watching right now. Game 2. Game 2 was a blowout.
Yeah, that one was.
That one was ugly. I even wrote in my notes the only team that could take them was IG, and then IG lost later on. So I'm like, yeah, maybe not. I think Griffin's in a league of their own. Yeah, Chovy has an astounding 84 KDA right now. That's the stat. I wrote it down. 84 is his KDA. So as long as he gets 16 kills or assists before he dies against SKT, if he dies against SKT, he'll be over 100. I don't think we've ever had that. I don't know off the top of my head, but I feel like that's really rare. That's like 3 to 4 weeks worth of games that you have to play without a single kill.
That's crazy.
Yes, you do go redemption first item, Brian. Sorry, I just looked at chat because I didn't have that up. Because my notes are covering it right now. Let's see. Kingzone versus Afrika. That was a pretty good game by Kingzone. I was very surprised. They just blew out Afrika in both games. Not much to talk about. Death just popped off.
My notes is game 1 is yikes, and then game 2 another big yikes.
Yeah. He just like Kiln on Lucian. Death had 29k damage at the end of the game. His whole team had 26k combined. So that was 2 ADC. Well, Kiln's top lane, but that was as ADC, so he didn't have an Urgot to pad the stats for. and Def just popped off in both games and really impressed me. And I think Kingzone, I had them in dead last after the first week. I thought they were terrible. They were so disorganized, but they've actually kind of meshed up together, and they look okay. I won't give them honors of being like with the big group, like the top four and nearly top five. Hollow Life is kind of up there as well. Uh, but they're definitely better than KT right now, and definitely better than Gen G.
Yeah. Mm.
Speaking of Hollow Life, they went against Sandbox, and Sandbox destroyed them 2-0. Like I felt bad for Hollow Life because they had to play SKT and or did they play SKT or they played Griffin in Sandbox. That's a tough
Even
week.
worse.
Even worse, yeah, exactly. So like I'm not down on them yet. I know they're 2-2, but like come on, you gotta give them a little excuse there. Um, Sandbox won the game through the draft. I thought they had so many winning lanes with Victor over Vlad early. I know like I personally don't like the Victor, but Victor is much better early game than Vlad. But I think Vlad is way better late game than Victor.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I know Victor's good late game, but I think it's just because of it's okay if the ADC's immobile. If the ADC's not immobile, like if it's a Kaisa or something, I don't like it at all. I've gone on rants in these notes. There's probably like 4 different rants about the Victor in these notes that I have through multiple leagues. uh,
Yep.
and Lucian over Kaisa. Kaisa scales, but Lucian has the dominance earlier. And I had to give it to the MVP to Summit on Victor because it could have gone the Ghost as well on the Lucian, but they just really blew out their lane opponents in the first game. Uh,
Yeah. Game two for Sandbox, like it wasn't like there's really not much to talk about in these games, but game two, the
we had
map
Darius,
control
man.
game, insane.
Yeah, and then
Like
Summit was on
Sandbox took,
Darius. Whew.
Sandbox took every drag.
Yeah, it was on fleek is such a good jungler. Like out of nowhere, right? Like he wasn't anything. Was he even playing last year? He's a rookie, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, he's just coming out of nowhere and just destroying everyone. Sandbox hasn't faced Griffin yet, but they will this week. But man, that'll be a fun series to watch.
I'm
Uh,
excited.
then we had SKT versus Damwon Gaming. This was a 3-game series. This one went quite a while. Uh, SKT looked pretty good the first game. They constantly. I felt so bad for Nagri, or is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Nagori, or Nuguri. I forgot how you say it.
it's Nugri, isn't
Nugri. But I felt so bad. He just got camped so hard by Clint and Khan. Like, well, Khan obviously was in the lane,
it? Yeah,
but it was insane. And Khan
what
got
you
a
got to
big
do.
lead out of it. And after all that, Khan was still losing the 1v1 against the Akali. And but it was not enough where he couldn't, he wasn't able to like 2v1 people, so his Akali was not too strong. But they also had
Mhm.
Teddy and Mata to clean up the job as well as Faker. So the SKT
Yeah,
still had everything in game one. Game two, though, Hoyt on Rakan, oh my god, every engage was amazing. It was like, this is how a support wins you, or wins an MVP. When you hit every single engage on Rakan, like 3-man, 4-man knockups into Charm. It was absolutely awesome. Like, it was very strong showing by him, and he's definitely one of the reasons why Damwon just crushed SKT in the second game.
yeah. I was a little excited about this one because this is a game where we actually got to see Faker on something. Wasn't Galio Erga because he played the Corki.
He did play the Corki, you're right.
He actually played it well too. Like he was 2-0 when his team only had 5 kills.
Yeah, and then they lost, so
But
he's never
yeah,
going
it
back.
just
He's
yeah,
back to Urgot duty.
yeah. Back to Erga.
They did take care of game three. It was a slow game though, which was sad. It was 30 paces of nothing happening, and then SKT wins a team fight and wins. Very classic SKT. But
Yeah,
Damwon did go 0-2 this week. It was against SKT and Griffin, but I don't think they're down and out for the count now. Like
no.
I think they're still going to be very strong.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna lose
Those are the
games,
teams. Yeah.
yeah, those are the ones to lose.
Uh, this game or the final series was I have notes for game one. I didn't write notes for game two and three. I noticed Ruler did great in the game one, and Jin Air, sorry, did absolutely nothing. It was the most boring game to watch because Jin Air just slow. You know when you go against Heimerdinger and he slowly pushes you in and you can have nothing to do to stop it. That was just all of Jin Air. They did absolutely nothing. They didn't even try to do anything. It felt like they just slowly lost all their towers until they got into a team fight at their nexus and then lost the game. It was very pathetic. I didn't write any notes for game two, which Janair did win, but game three thought was kind of funny. I passed out watching.
Yeah.
It was so boring. I fell asleep in this chair. I just went like this, and then I woke up 40 minutes later. The game was done, and I had it was such a boring series, man. It was brutal. I think LS was shoutcasting it, and you could tell even him. And I don't remember who else was shoutcasting with him, but they were really trying to keep it entertaining by just trying to bring some other stuff up that were not game related. Just anything to spice up. That was a terrible series by the two worst teams in Korea, and they're both the two slowest teams in Korea. Like they done it's when you're in an exciting meta and you get a snooze fest like those two, like I said, I passed out for 40 minutes in my chair. I fell asleep like 5 minutes into game three and woke up and the game was over. And the sad thing about that whole thing, I had to rewind it and watch it again because I didn't know what happened. Oh, it was brutal.
I think the only thing that would have made that series better is if they would have put another team in there with them, and it was Splice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then like Clutch Gaming from last year.
Yeah, one of the, just both of those, just a good all for all.
Yeah, four team league game.
You could literally take those two teams right there, like all four of those teams, I mean, and have just no towers, just one tower and a nexus. That game will last 45
Oh my god, it sucked. Let's move on though to our players of the week. First off, we have our top laner of the week. I put SKT Khan. He had a 4.2 KDA, not bad. 62% kill participation. He had 555 damage per minute and 29% of his team's damage. And his game of the week was his Victor. That was an awesome game. Jungle, Griffin Tarzan, of course. Like I was telling early, like before we started the stream, I feel like I can just put Tarzan in for this every single week, and I would be right. He had a 7.0 KDA, a little bit lower than last week where he was perfect. 76% kill participation, 20% damage. His best game was that 4-1 and 12 on Olaf against Damwon Gaming. He had that redemption. He made a meta. That has to be the best game of the week if you made a brand new meta in it.
has to.
Like easily. Obviously mid lane, of course, Griffin Chovy. Chovy had a 44 KDA this week. A little okay. He had only a 40 KDA last week. Actually, he had a perfect KDA last week because he didn't die, but he had 40 kills and assists. He did die this week, the scrub.
Yeah.
He had a CS per minute of 10, DPM per minute of 407, and he had an 11-0-5 Zoe game against Damwon this week. And it was disgusting. That makes you hate Zoe, even though she's been nerfed to the ground. She didn't feel like she was nerfed to the ground in that game.
She really doesn't.
Surprise again, ADC of the week, Griffin Viper. It's like this team's the best team in the world or something. KDA of 15.4, CS per minute of 11. That's the whole CS above the 10.0 perfect CSing. Kill participation of 62%, DPM of 472, 30% of Griffin's damage, and his best game was 10-0-4 on Kaisa. And of course, he got a pentakill that game against Hanwha Life. And that was the game they were struggling with. So he's the reason they came back and won that game. And finally, we have the support, something different, Joker on Sandbox Gaming. I love him. He's like my favorite player because he's 29 years old and he doesn't care. He throws like 1,000 thresh hooks out a game. As long as one hits, he's going in on it. He's one of those type of players, and that's what I love. I love aggressive engaged supports like that. He had a kill participation of 60%, KDA of 4.2, his vision score of 3.2, and his best game was 1-1-1 or 1-1-8, sorry, on Thresh against SKT, and I don't think he missed a hook that game. He was just crushing it. Brock, did you want to go over? Let's go over Player of the Week now.
We'll do the KT Jin Air game. Not this one isn't Play of the Week, but this was just a really good Jax play that I wanted to show.
Okay, yeah.
He wants to be.
Alrighty. Tell me when you're ready. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
The frontliner as well. They're going to back off of that. Elitair, there's the four-man stun from Score as he gets into the back line. And here is Smeb. It's going to be a total rout of a fight this time around. Double kill on the side of KT. Linderong has to be killed 3 times.
Tom Kent missed. But yeah, that was a 4-man stun. Brock, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. That was just the perfect Jax play. Like, he was exactly where he needed to be, exactly when he needed to be there.
Yep.
Landing the 4-man, like getting a 4-man stun as Jax feels good. And not to mention, he got a 4-man stun while his flash was down.
Yeah, he did it with a ward.
Yeah, Braum actually flashed into that stun.
Did he really?
Yeah, Braum actually flashed into that stun.
Oh my god.
Because he was trying to ult.
Yeah.
And Jax's Counter-Strike actually canceled ult.
Does it cancel ult?
Well, no, it didn't cancel the ult,
went,
but he didn't. Yeah, he didn't get time to actually
messed
direct
it up. Yeah, he messed it up. Got it. Oh, it's such a good play. Not play
actually,
of the week.
no, I was wrong. If you watch that again, Score actually dodges.
He dodges the ult?
Yeah, he moves it to the side. I didn't notice that until I just
Oh,
watched it
he
again.
does.
He actually moves to the side.
He does, right
which
there.
makes it even better.
There you go. Even better than we thought. But not play of the week.
Yeah, not play of the week. Play of the week was something I've been wanting to see from Faker for a long time, but it happened on Gallia. I actually got to see Faker just one-shot somebody.
All right.
One combo.
You ready to watch it?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Wonder if they're gonna try to go for the
Oh,
Baron
there's the
now.
flash on Anucula. Can he actually get enough damage? No, the answer is yes. It's the solo kill from
In
Faker.
case
as the
people
lands
don't
in.
know
Not
what
gonna-
Sivir does, Sivir has a spell shield. She didn't have time to do it at all.
Oh, there's the flash.
Oh my
It was
god.
literally just demolished by a Gallia.
Yep, Galio is getting a lot of hard nerfs. The flash over the wall with the taunt was disgusting. And then the knockup, which is... whole thing was disgusting. Galio is going to be probably out of the meta, hopefully, with the nerfs he's receiving, along with Aurelia. I don't think
Yeah,
Urgot's
so
nerf
excited.
picks him out of the meta, to be honest. He just got nerfed on his Q and his shield time. The shield time is noticeable in lane. It's not so noticeable late game. It's only 7 seconds, but in lane it's pretty noticeable. It's like 17 seconds. So you do have to take smarter trades. I will say that as someone who's played Urgot recently on this patch, but he's gonna stay in the meta. He's still gonna be first pick. He gets priority because he's not as OP as like the Cho'Gath, the Cassiopeia and stuff like that. He's like the 7th most OP champ if you think about it. Like his Urgot's never banned. No one bans Urgot. He's always picked. Like,
Which is crazy. It's like, I don't understand why they don't just ban it. Like, it's picked.
yeah, it's because it's not as strong as some of the bans like Cassiopeia and Aatrox is a strong one.
Cassiopeia in Korea, yikes. Like, if you thought Jensen's Cassiopeia looks good,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, you don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of other champs that are just better than Urgot, and we don't get to see them because of that. and then Urgot's just like next in line, so he's like the worst of the best, and that gets him the first pick every single game, pretty much.
Every game.
Every game.
And you know what follows that? Usually a Galio.
Or Lysandra.
Yeah, or Lysandra.
Yes, it's the weird thing you always got to think about in professional play is every person that you see that they are broken, but they're not as broken as the people that are getting banned before them every game. Like, you don't get to see those characters. Like, I don't know if people realize just how broken Cassiopeia is because I've only seen like 4 or 5 of them this year so far where they've snuck through the bans and they just destroy every time. They're by far the best. You have to ban Cassiopeia. Let's go over our power rankings. This is week 1. This should say week 2. I did not change that. Let's change that now. Week 2 power rankings. Griffin number 1. If we had a world's power ranking, we'd probably put Griffin number 1 as well. But
Yes.
So they're staying nice and firm there. Sandbox has moved up to number 2 for both of us. I thought that was they're 4-0. They're gonna go off against Griffin this week, so that will be very exciting to watch. We got SKT at 3rd. They did lose to Sandbox this week, so they're not undefeated, but that is why we had the Sandbox originally. I had 9th, I believe. Yes, I had 9th. And did you have them 10th, Brock? You did. You had them the 10th place team. Boy, were we wrong.
Yeah, we were very
Wow. Yeah, that has to be the quickest move. In 2 weeks, they've gone from our 9th and 10th place to the only team that's above them is Griffin, which is a totally understandable team to be above you. But if they beat Griffin this week, Brock, that means they're number 1 for sure. There's like no way to put it.
No, yeah, you have to put them. But beating Griffin, hold.
That's like that's not an easy task.
No one's even taken a game
nope.
off of Griffin.
Nope. And the only one that looked close was Humble Life in that game 1. That was the only time it even looked close. We both have Damwon number 4, so our 1 through 4 is the exact same. Only difference is that you have Kingzone number 5. Why do you have Kingzone over Hanwha Life? Just
Honestly, with Kingzone and Hanwha Life, that's actually one that you could literally put either one of them. Where I put Kingzone over Hanwha Life just because Hanwha Life has one more loss than Kingzone.
No, they're tied.
Right? Are they tied? I thought Kingzone is 4-4.
Oh,
I mean through their series.
Through series. Okay, yeah. I'll give that.
Like, actually, that's it. Like, you could literally change those, and I wouldn't.
That makes sense considering they're in the middle. They're the middle of the pack teams.
Yeah.
Middle, the 2 ones that I think stand out before them. Because I have a Freaka number 7. You have KT number 7. I thought KT. They've only beat Jin Air. I have KT number 8. They've only beat Jin Air. That's all I gotta say. If that's your only win on the year so far, the 2 weeks, it's a little scary looking. But I had to put Genji. If you make me pass out from boredom, you are going to number 9, Genji. I don't care if you won a game this week.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they beat a Freaka this week. Oh no, they didn't. They beat who'd they beat this week?
Who?
Genji. Yeah.
Genji beat Jin Air.
Jin Air. Okay. Yeah. Oh yes, you're right. Duh. Yeah, I forgot because I passed out during the game. That's why they're number 9. They're the same as KT. So it's shocking that KT and Gen D has not won a game outside of against Jin Air. That's it. And I don't think Genji will win many games this year outside of those games against Jin Air. And of course, obviously, we have Jin Air since they're 0-4. It's kind of easy to put them as number 10.
For right now, whenever we're doing our power rankings, we put number 1 Griffin, number 10 Jin Air, and then we just work from there.
Yep. That's
until anything changes, those are going to stay there.
Yeah. All right, we're moving quick today. I like it. Let's. You want to go over our predictions then?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's pull up.
Such a good game.
LCK.
Not so much game 2.
For some reason, when I do my predictions, I literally forget to write who goes against each other. So I have in my prediction, I took my little note. I'm like, game 1 or series 1, Damwon 2-1 against Sandbox. I have them upsetting Sandbox this week. It's tough to pick.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I could see Damwon winning. I actually could.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sandbox is going to go 2-1, but will not be surprised.
Yeah, I think Damwon. I think it's just something about Sandbox. I still question them a bit, even though they beat SKT. I don't know why. They're awesome to watch. They're so much fun to watch, but so is Damwon, and I think Damwon is looking. They don't want to go 0-3 like in the last 3 games, where Sandbox might be practicing more for their game against Griffin earlier in the week, or later in the week. Sorry, that's kind of my thought process on it.
Yeah, which is crazy because I know I'm not going to be able to watch this game live, so I'm going to wake up in the morning. The first thing I'm going to think about is I wish I would have picked Damwon before I even look at what it is. I have a feeling they're going to win, but in my head, I think Sandbox.
Yeah, I get that feeling because that's the feeling I had. That's why I picked them. Game number 2, Freak of Freaks versus Jin Air. I'm gonna fall asleep again, but at least a Freak of Freak has some spicy picks to at least keep me up, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm going to Freak of Freaks because screw you, Jin Air. Anyone who makes me pass out, like I said, is not getting my confidence.
No. And even if Jin Air wins this game, not that impressive.
No, it's not.
Like
It's
if
not
Jin
like a
Air
freaking.
beats Hanwha, then I'll say something.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't have Jin Air win. I got a freak out.
Series number 3, we got another great one with Griffin versus SKT.
Yikes.
I got Griffin going 2-0 this game. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
SKT. I think you're awesome. I think all your players are doing pretty well. Like, this is your year to come back. I don't think you can beat a game off Griffin yet. I haven't seen anyone prove that they can.
Man, this is actually very difficult. I think like my prediction is I think Faker is gonna win mid lane
Against
and
Chovy
yeah, against Chovy.
while on Urgot.
Yeah, please God. But yeah, I think Faker's gonna win mid lane, and I think Teddy and Viper is actually gonna be the lane to watch. But
So many good lanes.
yeah, but Griffin has Tarzan. And Clid is good, but Clid's not Tarzan.
Yeah. I think
So
Khan's the biggest weak link on the team, but also
Yeah.
Sword is the weak link on Griffin.
Yeah.
Not that
So,
he's a weak link either. He's like amazing, but he's just he can't keep up with the people with an 84 KDA.
Yeah. I think not Faker. I think SKT is possibly going to win game 1, and then I think Tarzan's going to realize he's the much better jungler, and he's going to camp the shit out of mid lane and bot lane, and Griffin's going to win 2-1.
Ooh, but you do have Griffin losing their first game of the year.
I do. I have Griffin losing a game.
A game.
And,
Woo!
and this might possibly be the last game they lose.
Until they lift the cup at Worlds.
Yeah, until they're holding the cup.
Oh my god. Game number 4 is Gen G versus KT Rolster. Oof. This would be exciting last year. It's been a thrilling game. Now, after all the other hype game, it's like hype game boring. Hype game boring. This one's really boring. I don't even remember who I picked. Let me look at my notes, because honestly, I picked KT Rolster 2-1. I don't know. They scare me because they've only beaten Jin Air, but then Gen G also scares me because they've only beaten Jin Air, and I have to believe KT is a better team than Gen G. I just think they have the better players. Outside of Ruler, Gen G is nothing.
Hey, I mean, at the end of the day, Gen G took a game off of Afrika. So,
They
I
did.
mean, you know,
They did.
just one game. But I don't think it's going to be. I've got KT.
KT took a game off Hanwha. And at the time, we're like, duh, of course they took a game off Hanwha.
Yeah,
That was
of
game
course.
1. It was an easy blowout. And then they hadn't won since.
Nope.
February 1st, we have game number 5, or series number 5, Kingzone versus Damwon. This is gonna be a better game than I thought it was gonna be if you would have asked me last week. But I still think Damwon is a stronger team than Kingzone, and they're coming off a brutal stretch of their schedule. Remember, they had to play Griffin, SKT, Sandbox the last 3 games. So this is going to be a recovery game for them. I think they're going to drop a game because I think Deft is actually, obviously he's a very good ADC, but he's really finding a sweet spot right now. He's really hot right now, and he's going to actually carry a game like he did before on the Ezreal Revolution. He's going to carry one game for Kingzone, but I don't think it'll be enough to win the series.
Yep. Could not agree with you.
Yeah,
I think
you have 2-1.
Damwon is I think Damwon is the better team. But I think it's gonna be a 2-0.
Okay.
Just to get it a little I see we're getting back to our other stats where we're everything's the same again.
Oh yeah, we are. Look, except for game 1.
So yeah, so that's the game.
That's not good because I haven't broken even yet in a single week of what is this, LCK.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming we're gonna be the same for this one. Hanwha Life versus Jin Air.
Boy. Yeah, tough decision here.
I can't pick Jin Air in any of my games until until I don't fall asleep watching their games. I can't pick them. I'm assuming you're going Hollow Life 2-0 as well.
Yeah,
I
I think
did
if Jin Air wants to impress me, uh,
win a game.
it'll have to be February 14th. If they can take a game off of Sandbox, just one game.
Hey, if
then
they beat
I'll
Hollow
start
Life, I'll be impressed.
Yeah.
If they beat anyone at this point, I'll be impressed.
If they beat a Freaka,
Sorta. Semi.
I mean, it's a win.
It is a win. It is a win, which they do not have yet.
Start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere, exactly. Saturday, we have game number 7 of the week. We have a Freak Freaks versus KT Rolster. This is another tough one, but I have a Freaka winning this one. I haven't seen enough out of KT. This is going to be a 2-1 series, I think. Going to be close. I don't see KT even making... There's potential KT doesn't make playoffs this year. Let's just say that. I think there's 5 superior teams to them this year. And then, like, if they make playoffs, it's going to be number 6, and that means they're going to go against Griffin, and that means they're definitely going to lose in the first round. But I have a Freaks winning this 2-1.
We've got a difference.
Woo, that's our second difference.
KT winning.
Do you have them winning 2-1, 2-0?
Yeah, I have them winning 2-0.
Wow, you do not believe in Freaka.
I'm putting a lot of faith into KT's roster here. I think KT has a good roster.
Yeah.
BDD, Score, Smeb. I think they have a good roster.
The issue is Smeb is playing terribly.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kiln is going up top against him. And that's why I think they're going to win through Kiln.
Yeah, it seems to be the case in most regions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, whenever you have a really good roster, no one's really living up to it.
Yeah.
Like, well, not no one. Not many of the teams are living up.
Yeah, especially in Korea.
Yeah.
All these rookies that came out of nowhere, you're like, oh, they might be okay. But then they're way better than all these other players. Series number 8, probably series of the week, which is surprising considering we have Griffin versus SKT.
Yep.
Griffin versus Sandbox. If both of them come undefeated from their first game, this will be a 5-0 versus 5-0. And saying that, Griffin 2-0. I'm sorry, Sandbox. Love you guys. But I think I said it last week. Until someone shows me that they could take a game off Griffin, Hollow Life got close. I was starting to think they could, and then they didn't. They played as perfect as you can play, and they couldn't win. I don't think a team's going to take a game off Griffin, all split possibly, if they keep up this level of play.
Yeah, just because I have SKT taking a single game off of Griffin, I think Griffin's just going to come out and just turn off and believe in harder.
Oh, man, I feel bad for Sandbox.
Yeah, I also have a 2-0 for Griffin.
Mm-hmm. They're just too good. It's like watching professionals face silver players, but they're not facing silver players. They're facing professional Korean players. They just make such quick work, and they're not as cocky as IG is, honestly. IG plays very sloppy because they can. They are so much better mechanically than all their opponents that they can play sloppy, but it did burn them recently. Where I don't see that from Griffin, like ever. They just always look so determined and just destroy.
And not to mention, Griffin has so much faith in their roster that if you look at the other teams, like, there's a backup or a sub in almost every position. And Griffin has their roster and 2 subs. Or 3 subs. They have a sub for support and then 2 people I've never heard. So they're like, yeah, we just kind of need to build this roster.
The Griffin also has some backups that aren't necessarily subs. I don't know how they have a weird system in Korea. Like, it's not like necessarily subs, but I saw on Reddit today that they're ranked like 1, 2, and 4 in solo queue right now. So like all their backups are like the best solo queue players in Korea. Like, how's that work?
Very strange.
I don't. We could be seeing a dynasty of Griffin, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, this team, man. Yeah, this is crazy.
Let's move on to game number 9, even though I don't want to. Kingzone versus Gen G. I think Kingzone, I'm going to buy in. I bought in week... No, I didn't buy in week 1, but I didn't buy in especially in week 2. I thought they were worse than Jin Air after week 1 performance. They proved me wrong. They looked way better. And I'm buying in, and I think they're going to beat Gen G 2-0, and I think they're going to dominate Gen G. I have Gen G going 1-5 to start the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I also have this at 2-0 for Kingzone. This is, Genji's not doing well. I don't know what's going on.
Well, all they have is Ruler, and Deft has been playing better than Ruler, and he has a better supporting cast around him. Barely, but like I think because of that, he's going to neutralize Ruler in the early game and the mid game, and that because of Gen G has nothing else to go on, they're just going to lose. They just don't have anything else to do. They're all playing terrible outside of Ruler. And then finally, last game of last series of the week is Hanwha Life versus SKT. Another great. It's like great game bad, great game bad, great game bad. It's like very flip floppy, but
Yeah.
Hanwha Life versus SKT. I have SKT winning this one, 2-1. Sadly for Hanwha Life, they will get a win off of Jin Air. Never mind. I thought they were playing someone else this week. I forgot already. But so I was gonna say they're gonna go 2-4 after a great start, but I think they'll go 3-3. I think they'll take a game off SKT. I think they're good enough for that. But SKT will be former SKT, and this is the game where I see Faker get on a real champion that's not Urgot or Galio. I don't think they'll do it in the Griffin thing. I think they're going to play safe and just put him on Urgot the whole time. But I think they'll actually spice it up a bit in this series, and that's how they're going to win Game 3.
Yeah, I've got SKT winning 2-0.
2-0?
But my 2-0 isn't like 2-0 blowouts. Like, I think these games are actually going to be good games.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's going to be good games, and then SKT is going to do SKT things. Fights.
Mm-hmm. All right, those are our predictions. It's kind of a quick. Our predictions took a little longer than I thought, but it's still a decently quick podcast this week. Thank you for coming, and we have our podcast. We stream on Twitch every night at 10 p.m. Not every night, Sunday through Thursday. On Sunday we do LPL. Monday we do NALCS or just LCS. Sorry. Tuesday obviously is Korea. Wednesday we do the LMS, and Thursday we do the LEC. And you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/KingLinkFan. I upload all these videos right after we get off, and so they'll be there for you to watch, and if it's too late or if it's a different time zone. And you can follow us on Twitter at supportesports. Or no, I was going to say at supportesports.com, but just at supportesports. Thank you guys for coming, and good night. Hopefully we'll have a better week this week. 4-6, 2 times in a row. I want to get to 500.